Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I did not put these in any kind of order, and I've got a couple that I'm borrowing at the back here. Let's get straight into this. We will both be surprised. We're going to start with Damn Them All. This is issue 3, and it's good. I'm really enjoying the series. It has just been picked up for an ongoing instead of a 6-issue series, so that should be good. I thought that this world had a lot of potential to it, and I wanted to see more of, especially the main character. I'm hoping the cop sticks around as well. That's her. That's both of them there at the bottom. This is really good. It really moves the story forward, which is not something I could say about all of the books in this stack, but there's a lot of information here. A lot of sort of the mystery about what has been happening gets revealed, and it's just really, really good. Big fan of this. I'm glad to see that it is getting picked up for an ongoing, and I don't have anything else to say. Up next we have Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. This is issue 2, and in issue 1 these two characters met. They started off on a journey, and in this the journey is underway, but we very much get sort of the foundation of their relationship. There's a lot of discussions, conversations, them getting used to each other. There's not a whole lot of action. There is this tornado, clearly, which is pretty great. Leads to a fantastic scene. But when I say there's not much action, that's not a complaint. It's just the facts. This is mostly them talking, and it's brilliant. It's fantastic. The art is also great. This panel's pretty disgusting. It's even worse if you read the words. Yeesh. But yeah, this is great. I'm really loving it. Both of these, ordinarily, I would expect from Image, and they're both put out by Boom. If you're not paying attention to Boom, you're, I think, missing out on a lot of great stuff from the last few years. This is one of them. This is DC Mech issue 6. This is the end of the series, and this cover has a spoiler on it. Can you spot it? This series has been solidly okay, and this issue doesn't change any of that. If anything, it's less good than some of the earlier issues in the series, but things come together, for better or worse, and the story ends. In the end, it's fine. I just saw this story through to the end. It was a good first issue, and then issues 2 through 5 were just okay. Very, very average. Nothing. The art's good, but the story was solidly okay, serviceable, and nothing really changes here. It's all still true. Very okay. It's not something I recommend, but it could have been better, I guess. And I just saw the story through to the end. Next we have Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise issue 2. I believe this is a 4-issue series, and I want to point this out too. So if you're getting this and you didn't read this because there's no art on the page and it's a small font, go back and read this because it's vitally important to what's happening in the story. But this book is just stunning for a number of reasons. It is one of the most ambitious things I've read in a long time, but the art is just stunning, and the story, I expect, if this doesn't go down as one of the all-time great Doctor Strange stories, and I don't think there are many of those, but if this doesn't go down as that, then I think it's a crime that not enough people are paying attention to this, that people dismissed it as being too weird, and this is what I think Doctor Strange should be. It's extremely weird. It's stunningly gorgeous, and the story is also great, but it's extremely weird, and I don't know how many people are going to be okay with it if what you're expecting is something closer to this. This is, honestly, I started reading this and I'm like, this is too good for Marvel. This should be published somewhere else. Just remove Doctor Strange from it, and it should be a story about somebody else. This is too good for Marvel. But it is Marvel. It is great. It's highly recommended. It's probably my pick of the week. This is how issue 1 ends, with him in chains and this mask on him. The story is just, it's great, and it needs to be seen and experienced, and all of this makes sense at the time. When you get there, it's really, really good. Highly recommended. They have Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. This is issue 4 of 6. Thank you, DC. And there's usually a point in a miniseries, say it's 5 issues, it would ordinarily be issue 3, where things sort of stagnate, and it's more about getting pieces in the right place for the end of the story before that end comes, and that's roughly what this issue is. So it's not terribly much happens, but there are some really great scenes in this, and the art, as always, is amazing because it's Riso. But as far as progress on the story, not much happens. And as always, get the trade, you'll have a better reading experience. I'm sure issue 5 will pick back up. Batman Beyond the White Knight, issue 7. This is of 8, so it will be a concluding next issue. Look at this. Good God, I love the art in this so much. This is a great issue as well, as I believe they all have been. There are some fantastic speeches in this. Look at his face here. Love this. Love that face. The whole pose, really, but oof. Yeah, there are some great speeches in here. Some just incredible moments. I know I was reading this and Batmobile crashes here and I made a noise, and then I had to explain what was happening to the other person that was in the room. Yeah. I mentioned great moments of speeches. This is one of those. But it's really just incredibly good. Joker just steals every scene that he's in. And Todd, please make more figures based on these designs. Please and thank you. It's really good. Can't wait for the ending. Super impatient for it. I want it now. It's so good. A few weeks ago, I was talking about Hexware issue 1, and at the time I was talking about Tim Seeley and not knowing if that was the first thing that I had read of his or not, and it turns out it's not, because I'd been reading the Roadie for months. But the Roadie was, I think, a great first issue, and then the rest of the series is okay. I think things aren't quite developed as much as they should have been. There's a couple of areas where a bit more development, like maybe if it were 5 issues instead of 4, would have given some things breathing room. But it ends well. It's a good ending. It's just issues 2 through 4 were not as good, in my opinion, as that first issue, and the story went in some directions that I didn't ultimately care for. If you are interested in, I would say, sort of the power of music, but it's about family, it's about demons and music, and it's a number of things, and all I can think of is Murder Falcon did those things better, which is more friendship than family, but maybe it's the family that you choose instead of the family. It's irrelevant. This is okay. It's ultimately not for me. Strange Academy Finals, issue 3. I still believe this is going to be a 6-issue series, and if it goes beyond that, I will be very surprised. Our student body has been separated for a while, so most of them are on this side. We got 3 of them over here. the last issue, I think, was mainly focused on this crew, and these people do show back up this issue, and they're sort of plotting, and they say that things are, things are going on, and there's going to be a big confrontation coming up. I'm sure we get this guy coming off of a pirate ship, which is pretty awesome. But the story moves forward a bit. This is mostly character focused. I said things do move forward a bit, but this is still great. Art's great. I think I showed off a little bit of that. Here's a scene without action, but it's still a great scene. And yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying this for, I don't know when it got the first issue got canceled, but in 20, 30 issues, it's great. I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I do want to see where this ends. It does make me wonder too. So while reading this, there's whatever's going on in New York, the Dark Reign nonsense, but all of the magic characters are focused here in New Orleans, and I'm just wondering why none of them even comment on Dark Reign. Like, shouldn't they be going on a field trip to help deal with that? The interconnectedness, or the lack thereof, the same as with the movies, irritates me sometimes. It's like things that should be interconnected aren't, and sometimes it's things like this that really point that out to me in ways that I don't ordinarily think about. But yeah, all of these characters should be in New York helping to deal with whatever fucking Ben and Madeline are up to. Lastly, I've got 2 issues here of Love Everlasting. I read the first 3 issues. I bought and read the first 3 issues, and that's where I stopped. It's very much, or was very much, a romance book that had a twist, and I wanted more of that twist, and I wasn't getting it. Instead, I was getting just straight romance, and I'm like, it's still well told, it's just not what I care about. And there's a friend of mine who continued getting the books, and he let me borrow issues 4 and 5. This, I think, is the end of the first arc, although it doesn't really feel that way when you get to the end of issue 5. But issue 4, I think, is the best issue in the series to date. So Joan, I'm going to say, isn't really the main character in this. Instead, it's this guy here, Dane, and she is, I'm going to say, it's told from her perspective, but I'm saying that she isn't the main character. So it's, they are in France during what appears to be World War I. She is an American singing in this bar. He is a soldier. At this point in the story, he is fresh in the country. He's got this group of friends with him, and as the series goes on, months turn into years, and his friends die one by one. He keeps coming back to the bar, and he is dramatically changed over that time. She is roughly the same throughout, but it's just really well told. It's very sad, and there's something that I enjoy about sad love stories, sad war stories. It's very good. It's basically self-contained. There are the last page. If you read only this issue, the last page is definitely going to confuse you, because it goes from this war story to this beach scene, and you're like, what the hell happened? But that's the twist that I've been waiting for. And issue 5 gives me all twist, no romance, and it's fantastic. So I think I stopped reading at the wrong time, except here's the problem with this. It's all twist. There's information thrown at you. There's information sprinkled in your direction. So there's a little bit, but it's really well told. There is this character here, and what she knows and what she's talking about is simply fascinating. But it's really good. It's what I wanted, basically what I wanted the for the last 4 issues, and there's somehow still not enough of it. I want more. I want it to get where it's going, and it's not doing it. But these 2 issues are both great. This is basically just incredible, one and done story, and this is also almost entirely self-contained. It does reference things that have happened, and if you haven't read the other 4 issues, this will make absolutely 0 sense, but it's just really well done. I don't think I'm going to continue attempting to read Love Everlasting. I might get a trade, like Volume 2, if it comes out. I don't know. This confuses the matter for me, because I thought it was done, and then these 2 get loaned to me and are just incredible, and I kind of want to know more again. So I guess we'll see. But these 2 are great. Not enough for me to say pick up the series if you've been curious, but certainly pick up November from this artist, and Matt Fraction was writing that, but certainly pick up something else, not this. So that is everything that I got this week. There are some solid entries. Strange Academy is great. White Knight is always spectacular. But I'm giving Pick of the Week to Doctor Strange, because it is just, it's knocking it out of the park. Like, it's swinging for the fences, and I think it's just sailing clear across the state line. Like, it's, there's nothing else like this. There's nothing. And this is probably going to get Pick of the Week whenever the next 2 issues come out, and it's just so good. So this is my Pick of the Week. I hope someone else is reading this and someone else is trying it, because it's just so good. So, as always, I get my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.